Welcome to Things Text from Laura and Anthony. We're kicking things off today with some pretty electrifying news, actually, in the world of AI. It's coming out of Elon Musk's XAI.
That's right. Lots of buzz around their latest update for the Grok to chatbot.
Yeah, exactly. They've just rolled out something called Grok Vision. And, well, it sounds like a bit of a game changer. Think about your phone camera suddenly working with Grok, letting it see the real world.
Yeah, it definitely brings it into direct competition, doesn't it? With ChatGPT and Google's Gemini, which already have those kinds of visual features.
Right.
Seems like visual input is becoming, table stakes for these top AI assistants.
But hang on, this is where it gets, I think, really interesting. This Grok Vision, it's powered by a totally new model from XAI.
Ah, the Grok 1.5V.
That's the one, Grok 1.5V.
And that word multimodal is really key here, isn't it?
Totally.
We're moving beyond just typing things in. This model, it can look at and understand all sorts of visual stuff, documents, diagrams, charts.
Screenshots, photos you take.
Exactly. A really diverse range.
And the thing that seems to be making waves, the part that's really got people talking, is how good it apparently is at understanding real-world spatial relationships.
Precisely. So Grok 1.5V reportedly scored highest on this benchmark called Real World QA. Got a 68.7%.
Real-world QA. Okay, so what does that actually measure? Is it just object recognition?
Well, no, it's more specific than that. It's designed specifically to test how well AI models grasp spatial stuff in, physical settings.
Ah, okay.
So the benchmark might show an image and ask something like, is the mug on the left or right of the keyboard? Questions that need spatial understanding.
Gotcha.
And Grok scores suggests it's, pretty good at figuring out those kinds of visual arrangements.
Which really stands out when you compare it, right? What were the other scores?
Yeah, so Gemini Pro 1.5 was just behind at 67.5%. GPT-4V got 61.4%.
Okay.
And the Claude models were quite a bit lower, below 52%.
Wow. So that gap, especially with GPT-4V and Claude, it really highlights that potential edge in processing spatial info. It's not just seeing what's there, but where it is relative to other things.
Exactly. And this spatial ability isn't just, a number on a chart. It enables some really practical uses. Like, imagine taking a picture of your lunch. Grok could potentially give you a better calorie estimate because it understands the portion sizes, the different items, and how big they are next to each other.
Huh. Or maybe finally explaining those weird internet memes.
Yeah.
If it can understand the layout and context.
That's another example, yeah. And maybe more seriously, think about converting a table you see in a picture into like a spreadsheet format, a CSV file.
That could be useful.
Or generating a story from a quick drawing you made.
Yeah.
Even diagnosing problems like you take a photo of some wood in your house, and it might help identify if it's rotten based on the visual cues.
Or coding help from a screenshot.
Right. Analyzing code structure visually. So that high score in spatial reasoning, it's kind of the key that unlocks these more nuanced analyses. It helps bridge the gap between digital data and the physical world around us.
It really sounds like it acts as that bridge, yeah, connecting our digital lives with the actual tangible world.
Precisely. And the integration for Grok Vision sounds pretty straightforward. If you're using Grok on iOS in voice mode, you can apparently just point your camera and ask, what am I looking at?
Instant analysis.
Pretty much. Real-time visual input. We've seen similar camera features in ChatGPT and Gemini, so it feels like a logical next step for these tools.
It does sound super convenient having that immediate visual understanding. And like you said, it all comes back to that Grok 1.5V model and its spatial capabilities. Now, worth noting, this isn't the only new thing, right? There's also more language support for audio and real-time search in voice mode.
Yeah, broader update package.
But it looks like, for Android users at least, getting those extra features might be tied to the paid Super Grok plan for now.
Right. That's often how these rollouts go. Now, one area that was mentioned, which I found particularly compelling, was the potential application in analyzing medical scans.
Oh, interesting. Tell me more.
Well, this is where you combine that sophisticated visual processing using things like CNNs, convolutional neural networks, to understand the image patterns.
Okay.
With the language models, the transformer-based ones, that can process and understand vast amounts of text, like medical literature, up to, say, Q3 2023.
So it's seeing the scan and connecting it to medical knowledge.
Exactly. And that spatial reasoning engine we talked about, it could potentially identify anatomical structures in 3D, measure lesions accurately, maybe even track changes across multiple scans over time.
That sounds incredibly powerful.
Right.
Tracking changes over time is huge in medicine.
It really is.
Yeah.
And that could lead to applications like Anomaly detection, flagging possible tumors, subtle fractures, signs of bleeding, density variations, things that might be hard for the human eye to catch consistently.
Right.
It could also help with pattern recognition, comparing a new scan to known diseases, or even to that same patient's earlier scans to spot subtle shifts.
Okay, I see.
And then there's the idea of clinical decision support, maybe helping doctors by suggesting possible diagnoses based on the scan, recommending follow-up tests, or even checking for potential drug interactions related to what it sees.
That's fascinating potential, but I imagine there have to be some pretty big warnings or caveats with this, especially in healthcare.
Oh, absolutely. Crucially, this is not FDA approved for diagnosis. It's research potential. There are limitations too, like maybe it struggles with very fast processes seen in some scans, what they call temporal resolution. And like any AI, it can make mistakes or hallucinate, especially if the image quality is poor, low contrast, or if it's a very unusual condition. It's likely best right now with more common problems.
So definitely not replacing doctors.
Not at all. It's about potentially augmenting their abilities, providing another tool, perhaps helping them spot things or cross-reference information more efficiently. It's very much an assistant, not the decision maker.
Okay, that makes sense. A powerful assistant, potentially, but still an assistant.
Precisely. It's a step towards enhancing human expertise in a really complex field.
So wrapping up then, Grok Vision, powered by Grok 1.5V, seems like a really significant move. It's making AI more visually aware, more practical for everyday things. And that spatial reasoning part really does seem to be a key strength, a differentiator maybe.
It does, and it makes you think, doesn't it? Where does this go next? How could this kind of visual understanding change other fields? Architecture, maybe? Engineering? Scientific research?
Or even accessibility tech for people with visual impairments.
Absolutely. Lots of possibilities. What other real-world problems could benefit from AI that can truly see and understand the physical world like this?
It really makes you wonder. And for you listening, what applications of this kind of visual AI get you thinking? Are you excited? Maybe a little concerned about some aspects?
Yeah, definitely food for thought.
Well, that brings us to the end of our discussion for today. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.